More than 45 centuries ago, in a narrow strip of green cradled by endless desert, a civilization looked at death and refused to accept its finality. Along the life-giving Nile, the ancient Egyptians called their land Kemet, the Black Land, because of the rich, dark soil the annual flood left behind. Here, pharaohs were not mere kings. They were Horus on earth, sons of Ra, living links between the human world and the divine. When they died, the order of the cosmos, Maat, itself was at stake. To preserve that order, to ensure the sun would rise again each morning, they built monuments that would outlast empires, the pyramids. The journey began humbly, yet with breathtaking ambition. Around 2630 BCE, in the early years of the Old Kingdom, Pharaoh Djoser of the Third Dynasty dreamed bigger than any ruler before him. He turned not to his vizier's traditional mud-brick mastaba tomb, but to a genius named Imhotep, architect, physician, priest, and later a god in his own right. Imhotep proposed something revolutionary: stack mastabas atop one another, each level smaller, creating steps toward the sky. The result was the Step Pyramid at Saqqara, 6 giant terraces rising 62 meters, the first large-scale stone structure in history. It stood within an immense enclosure: temples, ritual courts, dummy pavilions, even a life-size stone replica of the king's palace. This was no mere tomb. It was a resurrection machine, a permanent stage for the king's ka, his vital essence, to perform the rituals that would sustain life beyond death. Word of Djoser's achievement spread. Successors raced to surpass it. Pharaoh Sneferu, founder of the glorious Fourth Dynasty, built not one, not two, but 3 major pyramids, each a lesson carved in stone. His first attempt at Meidum began as a step pyramid. Later engineers tried filling the steps to create smooth sides, an early true pyramid, but the angles were too steep, the weight too great. Parts collapsed catastrophically, leaving the eerie, ruined tower we see today. Undeterred, Sneferu moved to Dahshur and began the bent pyramid. It started at a bold 54-degree slope, almost too steep for safety. Halfway up, cracks appeared in the inner chambers. The builders made a daring mid-build correction, reducing the angle to 43 degrees. The pyramid still stands, bent but unbroken, a testament to ancient problem-solving under pressure. Finally, Sneferu achieved perfection with the Red Pyramid at Dahshur, the world's first successful true smooth-sided pyramid. Its gentler 43-degree slope proved stable. Sneferu had cracked the code. Then came his son, Khufu, known to the Greeks as Cheops. Around 2580 BCE, he set out to build the greatest of them all, the Great Pyramid at Giza. Statistics alone stagger the mind. 2.3 million blocks of limestone, some granite slabs from Aswan weighing up to 80 tons. A square base covering 13 acres, level to within 2.1 centimeters. Sides aligned to true north with an error of just 3 arc minutes. Precision rivaling modern instruments, achieved with nothing more than sighting poles, stars, and shadows. Original height, 146.6 meters, the tallest human-made structure for nearly 3,800 years. How was it done? Popular imagination once spoke of vast armies of slaves whipped under the lash. Archaeology tells a different story. Workers' villages unearthed near Giza housed perhaps 20,000 to 30,000 people at peak. Skilled craftsmen, quarrymen, haulers, surveyors, bakers, brewers, doctors. They worked in rotating teams of perhaps 2,000 to 4,000. Many farmers during the inundation season when fields were underwater. They ate well: cattle, sheep, bread, beer, and received medical care. Skeletons show healed fractures and even brain surgery. They moved stones on wooden sledges over wetted sand to reduce friction by half. They quarried locally for most limestone, floated granite down the Nile from 800 kilometers south. Ramps, straight, zigzagging, or wrapping around the pyramid, lifted blocks ever higher. Recent theories suggest internal ramps or lever systems for the heaviest granite in the king's chamber. When complete, the Great Pyramid was breathtaking. Its outer casing of polished Tura limestone gleamed white gold in the sun, visible for dozens of kilometers. At its apex sat a pyramidion, possibly electrum-covered. Its 4 sides echoed the rays of the sun god Ra descending to earth. Its layout mirrored the 3 stars of Orion's belt, the celestial home of Osiris, god of resurrection, binding the pharaoh eternally to the imperishable stars. Khufu's son Khafra built the second Giza pyramid, slightly smaller but appearing taller because it stands on higher ground. He also carved the Great Sphinx, a colossal guardian with the body of a lion and the face of the king, watching over the plateau. Menkaure completed the trio with the smallest of the three, yet still a marvel. These were not lonely tombs. They anchored vast sacred landscapes, causeways, valley temples, boat pits containing disassembled solar barks for the king's journey with Ra across the sky. Every detail served one purpose: to launch the pharaoh's soul safely into eternity and keep Maat intact. Yet mysteries remain. Modern scans have revealed hidden voids, a large cavity above the Grand Gallery, corridors yet unexplored. How precisely did they achieve such astronomical alignments? What lost knowledge guided the placement of granite beams weighing dozens of tons 60 meters up? After Menkaure, pyramid building continued but on a smaller scale. Later, pharaohs turned to rock-cut tombs in the Valley of the Kings, perhaps fearing robbery, perhaps constrained by resources. But the Giza pyramids endured. Time has been ruthless. Earthquakes loosened stones. Medieval treasure hunters and lime burners stripped the shining casing for Cairo's mosques and fortresses. Only a few casing blocks remain at the top of Khafra's pyramid, yet the cores stand defiant, rough, stepped, eternal. Today they draw millions, silent against the desert sky. They remind us that humanity, when united by shared purpose, whether faith, ambition, or survival, can accomplish what seems impossible. No wheels, no iron, no computers, only mathematics, organization, sweat, and an unbreakable belief in something greater than one lifetime. 45 centuries later, stand at Giza as the first light touches the stones. Feel the silence, hear the whisper across millennia. We were here. We reached for the stars, and part of us still does. The pyramids do not shout, they endure. And in their endurance they teach us that true greatness is measured not in years of power, but in what remains when power is dust.